So we talked a little bit about the past and the present. Do you have any ideas on where the future might lie for online game worlds?
Yes. There's a good, a bad, and an ugly future. The good future is that the cost of developing MMOs goes right down. People can create their own, they can create their own personal ones for a few friends, just as easily as they can create their own Facebook page, they can create their own virtual world, you can bring people in, you can do whatever you like, it's just easy. And that's the good future, because we will see an outpouring of, 90% of those virtual worlds will be crap, except for the people who are, from the point of view of the people who created them and their friends, but some of them will be objects of sublime beauty. They will be so innovative, they'll just take your breath away. So that's the good future. The bad future is where everything gets dumbed down so much that people play these things 10 years from now and think, why did anybody ever like those? I was asked recently about gold farming. They were saying, why did people used to do like gold farming back in the early Motexman days? Well, no, they didn't, because it was stupid. Why would I buy gold? Imagine today I came up to you and say, would you like a Civilization 5 save file from 1800? So you don't have to play the first 300 turns. You'd say, what? Why would I want? I actually kind of like playing those 300 turns. Why would I buy a save file? And it was like that back in the old days. People actually liked playing through the levels and would no sooner buy something which made them go up faster, because then they were missing content, they're missing something. So, but as times got on, things have got diluted. People have put things in because they didn't understand it, or people who did understand it put things in but didn't get the right breaks, and we end up with things which are, they're popular and so on, but there are inconsistencies and things which could be so much better, and we're getting this downward pressure in the attempt to get more and more newbies. Then we're making things more and more easy, more blander and blander. People who 10 years ago were ridiculed for being Care Bears are now harder than the hardcore compared to what we've got now. It's ridiculous that, and so in this view of the world, virtual worlds get so mainstream, but they get blander, and people think, it's just a virtual world, but what was ever special about it? Why did people ever think, it's just like people seeing those movies of a train back in 1901 and running away because they think a real train's coming out of the screen. These people, they thought they were fun because they didn't know any better. No, actually, we thought they were fun, and you don't, because you don't know any better. That's the difference this time around. So that's the bad. The ugly is where the virtual world developers and the designers do everything right. They create these wonderful worlds, but the real world intervenes. These games are too addictive, or these games are making people go and shooting people up at schools, or these games here are ruining our economy, and or whatever. Just real world. Basically, if the politicians think that they could get votes out of it, out of stomping on games, then that's an issue. There's also an issue where well-meaning politicians or legal people attempt to give power in areas which have a bad side effect. So, for example, saying, look, these people who run these virtual worlds, these developers, they're tyrants. They claim that they own all these objects. There wasn't a level 80 warlock in the box when you bought it. There's one now because you made it. Therefore, that's your level 80 warlock. You can do what you like. You've got full property rights in that. Now, that's an argument which, sticking up for the little guy, that's great. But as soon as that sort of thing comes in, then the developers think, oh my God, I can't nerf anything, because if I make one change, I'm affecting the value or what it is they've earned, and they could sue me. under what? I can't make a virtual world or an MMO under that kind of conditions because it's impossible to do anything. So a well-meaning judge might have ruled in favour of the player, hoping to empower all players, but has effectively pulled the rug out. So yes, now you've got all the power, but there are no worlds in which to have the power. So that's the kind of the ugly one, where the outside world comes in. I mean, as for what's going to happen over in the long term, it has to be the first one, the good, because these things are so powerful that even if we forget about them for 50 years, somebody will rediscover them and what they can give people, and people will relearn, and we will get people playing games that have got the same sense of awe, AWE, that we had back in when you played your first text mod in 1993 or whenever you did. That sort of thing will return, but before then there's problems. I have high hopes. I mean, there are 2 MMOs at the moment in the pipeline which I'm really looking forward to seeing. One of them is the CCP vampire game, not because I like vampires, I don't like vampires at all. They suck. But
they don't sparkle.
They suck blood. But CCP was their design for EVE Online. They kept so true to that. They knew what they wanted. They made it, and they not deviated at all. And that shows that they've got the kind of integrity which means that if they make this game here, they are not going to be pandering to current trends. They're going to create what they want to create. And then the other one is the BioWare Star Wars The Old Republic. Because BioWare is BioWare, that's one of the things, I mean, that they could, wow, that is just such a, really just looking forward to it. My worry is that they spent so much money on it that even if it's a huge success by any other metric, it might not be a huge enough success for Electronic Arts. We're hearing things like, if it gets 2 or 3 million players, then it's a failure. What, 2 or 3 million players? Anybody would be overjoyed for that.
That's like the North American market itself.
Yeah, but it is BioWare. They could actually get that many players, and oh man, I hope that's a success. I'm really looking forward to that game. You could regard it, it's the last cruise liner before the aeroplanes of Facebook come along, that sort of thing, but people still go on cruises even today, and they're for a different audience, and you just know that whatever's going to be in there, it's going to be so well, so slick. I mean, some of the people who are working on it, Damien Schubert is one of the great unsung designers and developers. He should have awards coming out of his ears, but he doesn't. Rich Vogel, Gordon Walton, and these are people who know their stuff. And if it does fail, it won't be because it's been done wrong, it'll be because we've been marketed wrong, we've been sold wrong, not because the product's wrong. So that's in the immediate future. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Those 2 in particular. But I'd love to be surprised that something come out of nowhere and think, wow, I've got to go and try that. That sounds really different. Because that's the worst thing about having done this for 32 years is this sense of ennui. I've seen these things again, and well, why didn't you just ask me? I could have told them that game was going to suck. They spent $25 million on something which I knew was going to suck, and actually not just me, many people knew. Why don't they just ask? We can tell them, but no, it costs $5,000 to ask a consultant, but you only lose $5 million if it's. I want to see things changing. I don't want to die and find that we've still got the same damn combat system we had in Mud 1, which we do. That shouldn't be the case. Things should be changing a lot faster than they are. It's really frustrating. I don't want to be relevant. I want to be him a historical figure because that means that things have moved on. And while they haven't moved on, I'm still relevant, and that shouldn't be the case. I should have been consigned to the scrapping ages ago. And yet, you have to come back and remind people what they're doing. Sorry, I'm getting a bit mopey now.
Hopefully you won't have to mope too long.
Well, I'm British, I'm a natural pessimist. It's part of our constitution, unwritten, but yeah.
Thank you so much. Again, we were at the Austin Game Developers Conference with Richard Bartle, a legend, a living legend.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes, I'm sorry for ranted and all my pretensions, but give it 10 years and then